yveltah. You get holes in the spinal cord. So, malnutrition, where you're really not getting sufficient nutrients consistently, causes all sorts of potential birth complications, right? Neurological deficits. If we don't have enough fat in our diet, our brain is made up predominantly of fat. If you don't have enough of that while the body is developing, right, it's going to have deficiencies. All right, stress and emotion. Pregnant women are very emotional. I will say it because hormones reign in. Right? Yeah. It's an intense experience, right? Having the idea of another entity within your body. It comes with all of these hormones that you can see you're being crazy, but you can't stop it. So brace your. I just feel so guilty all the time as a mother that like it's not worth the second one for me.
My mom said the same thing. You can never get infected brain if you exhausted if something was wrong with the baby. She was like,
yeah. So yeah, I mean, parenthood is so filled with guilt.
Will the baby is that alcohol use, is that transferable to the baby?
What really is helpful? The first 2 weeks where it's terminal, right, where we don't know we're pregnant and why we don't have a lot of babies with a lot of fetal alcohol syndrome, even though we drink.
Right.
It's because in 2 weeks. We get like a 2-week grace period before the baby is beginning to develop its structure. So once it implants, right, we're on a whole new level. So you do have about 2 weeks. I owned a winery at the time, so there was a lot of alcohol. And right around, actually for me it was 3 weeks. All of a sudden I felt like I had a permanent hangover. Right? So no, it was great in the sense of I didn't have to fight my love of alcohol. It was very easy to be no.
Right.
Yeah. So I would say a hard no for anything in the embryonic, and then no more than one drink. And cocktails.
So it is good to drink just a little bit. It's good, right?
No, it's not good.
Damn.
I'm just asking. That's all I know.
No. Now, when you have the baby, right, and you're really stressed out, my lactation coach did tell me have a glass of wine because you're not gonna if you get really stressed out, you actually won't release your milk as well. An A beer when you're breastfeeding actually helps with lactation, right? But hey, it's the same thing. Like you can also get your baby drunk if you drink real environmental toxins, right? So the lead in the drinking water in Flint, Michigan, okay? This causes huge issues. Aside from the fact that we're poisoning a whole generation of people and pretending that we're not, okay? It has effects that go much further than the people who are drinking it now. Right? Moms who are exposed to this water, even if they get out of it and manage to get themselves back to some level of balance, that lead still stays in the system a really long time. Okay? That exposure to those toxins is going to affect them throughout their life. Right? So babies can be born with birth defects that come from environmental toxins that haven't been there for decades.
I'm glad I'm doing this.
Awesome. Okay, so this is environmental factors, right? Prenatal development. Now, move into early childhood. So the rest of this chapter is going to be early childhood, adolescence, and adults. So we're going to kind of run through several themes in 3 times.
Hey, is there any differences, like if you have a child when you're young, you're like 18, right? You have a kid at 18. Is there anything God's gonna have to be a kid or anything like that?
What?
We can't say that it's a matter of age, but that we have more patience as we get older. So, great mothers at 18, and I know some super happy ones at 38.
No, I'm just asking if there's something that's gonna happen.
Yes, age does impact the quality of parenting in a lot of ways. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that if you're young, right, and you're having to depend on friends side, you're not probably going to have as much education behind you. So
that's what I'm saying. Is the kid gonna be like all good?
Yeah.
There's no there's no all good or all bad recipe.
I don't know, sorry.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but there's no, people who are born to young parents have just as much ability to be successful as people born to older parents, right? Success has a good amount to do with attachment, which we'll talk about a little later, right? Some people were born to hard lives because they need to be really resilient and help other people do the same thing. Who would also be a better expert on getting through a hard life than the people who have done it themselves?
Right.
And in terms of someone I want to talk to, I don't want to talk to our first early childhood. Our first way that we interact with the world is through our motor movement, right? Motor development. And this is, right, getting the hands and the eyes and everything to move in the way that you want. Newborn babies, it's a lot of, just kind of reaching. It takes a while to grasp the hand. But their first form of interacting with the world, where they are, starting to see themselves as being in it, is movement of the body.
Is this like a child development class?
This?
Depending on the point of view.
Oh no, we're cutting this in half. So it's not even.
It just seems like it's child development.
It's in the book.
Development part of psychology, absolutely.
Maturation.
All right, maturation. Right, so this is development is the growth. Maturation is when it fully comes online. Right, so we say that the prefrontal cortex doesn't fully mature, in which that happens. But as you can see, it can be a span, right? That every baby, every person is just different enough. We have early walkers, right, and we have slow walkers. Okay. So where the developmental norms are really handy is, let's say, for example, you are waiting to see when your kid can sit upright.
They hear the keys ringing, something. But over time, we just got accustomed to it, and it's like, bye, Mom.
Yeah, that's normal. I mean, even with right, we call secure, right? This is
right.
Like the golden prize of emotional attachment. You're still going to have upset kids there. So the idea that your kid's not going to be upset, just let that go. Right? That's not going to be the reality. Okay. There's another type of emotional attachment that is avoidant. Okay, and this is when the kiddo is not. No, it never cuts off. You still have it now.
Adult relationships and how they are affected by early childhood, as explained by the attachment theory. First, an overview. We will define attachment theory, look at the 3 types of attachment styles, and see how childhood experiences affect adulthood. Then, we will answer 3 major questions that may come to mind when learning about attachment theory. Have you ever noticed that some couples seem happier and more able to work through their problems than others? Or have you wondered why some relationships work while others seem to fall apart? While there are certainly many factors and possible reasons for these scenarios, the answers may be more simple than you think. Psychologists have proposed a theory that attachments which are formed with primary caregivers during early childhood can have a major influence on future relationships. This is called the attachment theory. Through the development of this theory, 3 major types of attachment styles have been identified. They are secure, avoidant, and anxious ambivalent. These styles usually stay fairly consistent throughout individual life. The first type of attachment style is secure. A secure attachment between a child and primary caregiver occurs when the caregiver is a teen, and consistently responsive to the child's needs. As an adult, a person with secure attachment will find it easier to get close to others. They are happy, friendly, or might have had a caregiver that seemed preoccupied, indifferent, or to give them inconsistent attention while they were young. The child would become anxious because they would not know what to expect, and that inconsistency led them to become unsure and clinging. People with anxious, ambivalent attachment styles as adults will seek intimate relationships, but worry that others won't reciprocate or stay with them. They obsess, easily get jealous, and have a constant fear of abandonment. Their coping strategy is rumination. And now, the answers that you've been waiting for. Research shows that more than half of individuals identify themselves as having a secure lifestyle. However, recent studies have shown a decline in secure attachment and an increase in avoidant and anxious attachment styles. So now comes the big question: which styles are more compatible with one another? Research also shows a noticeable difference in gender when it comes to attachment styles. Men are more likely to be avoidant, while women are more likely to be anxious. Naturally, secure relationships work best, but surprisingly enough, a pairing of an avoidant male and anxious female also works, because the styles don't defy social norms. A role reversal would not work as well because it is not widely expected or accepted by society. And now the final question: are attachment styles permanent? These styles are continuous, not categorical. They can be altered at any point in life due to both negative changes, such as separation or divorce in parents, and through positive influences if an individual is aware of their style and working at making a change.
Let's have another 20 minutes.
All right. Yeah.
So most of this is driven by literature rather than genetic traits or anything like that, right?
Right. But you can have kids born with difficult dispositions, right? If you have a very picky kid who's hard to soothe, it's going to be hard to stay in there the same way as you would as a very easygoing kid, right? So it's definitely an interplay. And there's all sorts of other things that can come in, okay, and impact this, right? Anxious, ambivalent attachment style, okay, and avoidant can arise for people who are sick as kiddos. Okay, they've changed it now, but when I was a kiddo in the hospital for procedures and stuff, they didn't let the parents in there, right? So there was a whole generation of us who woke up in hospitals alone. Causes this kind of anxious, ambivalent style, right? When you're in a high stress situation and you don't have a caregiver there, we remember those, even though in the spectrum of life, it was just one moment in time, because the distress was so high and there wasn't someone there. These kind of things get in and impact it, right? So they've definitely, the cool thing is that they've changed this now. So when kiddos are having procedures, they have the parents right there, which is better for everyone, because you don't want a kid, who's going through a procedure, that's one level of distress, and then not having someone there to calm them down makes it harder for everyone. Likewise, situations in which there's a lot of war, right? People get stressed out, right? And that can lead to the avoidant piece pretty easily. Okay? Additionally, we are culturally kind of shuttled into the idea that a good man is avoidant with his feelings because he's got shit to do. Right? There's no time for that because I have stuff to do, right? It's pumped into our psyche all the time, which is really great when you actually have stuff to do, but your relationships, right? If you are not able to stay in there with your relationships, we end up usually feeling pretty lonely if we don't have someone to share that emotional connection with. It is not permanent. Okay, like they said, it is definitely a continuum. Okay, that is the majority of what therapists do, is try and rework that relationship. Right. So the power to change it lies in first being able to see how you may have some of these. Okay? And there won't be, you won't necessarily have an avoidant for everyone, right? We can have gender differences, right? Let's say you had a very available mom who was always there. You may have more of a secure style with women, right? Let's say your dad was never there, right? You're gonna have a little bit more of an avoidant style with men, right? So it's uncomfortable to look at this stuff initially, but then when you actually get in there, and you can kind of see some of the patterns, right, you're able to change that, and that's worth the discomfort a lot. This is one of the growing pains. Angel?
Is there a correlation between the parents and the child? So like if the father or the mother grew up secure, then they're more likely to have those same, or the child's most likely to have the same characteristics?
Yeah, it's like a parenting style, right? So, and that would be definitely passed down through the generations. Unfortunately, a death of a parent while someone's a kid is one of the biggest monkey wrenches in there. It really throws it off for generations. Any sort of like where you have the family line interrupted, it has the power to really get us more kind of in the avoidant or anxious and ambivalent, right? And then there are various points in life, right? When we're feeling like we're crushing it, we're gonna feel a little bit more secure, right? When we're feeling like, nothing's going right, everything feels disoriented,